Welcome back to Between the Goalposts. I'm Nate Hampton. It's Jesse Krieger, and joining us on his bye week is Andy Reid. Say hi, Andy. Awesome, as usual. We had a trade deadline bonanza in the NFL this past week. What do you think about the Carson Palmer trade?
So the Bengals they dusted him off and dealt him to the Raiders for a first-round pick in 2012 and possibly a first-round pick in 2013, I believe, if the Raiders make it to the AFC Championship game. So while it seems like a great deal for the Bengals and it seems like the Raiders paid too much, the thing about quarterbacks is if you get the right one, they're never too much. So if he leads them to the playoffs for the first time since 2002, to the fans it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
And to the organization, it'll probably also be worth it because they've just been the laughingstock of the league for so long that to have a real quarterback like Carson Palmer, I mean, with that running game, Darren McFadden, and it seems like Hayward Bay is living up to the expectations. So, I mean, he could be the missing piece. Strong defense. But on the other side, the Bengals got a great deal because he was doing nothing for them. He was literally retired. They have 2 first-rounders next year, possibly 2 first-rounders in 2013. Think about this. Young team built around 2 rookies right now and a good defense, and they're positioning themselves to get a lot of young talent as the other 2 powerhouses in their division, the Steelers and the Ravens, are aging and should probably be, their windows probably close in the next few years.
Very true, very true. The one complaint that I'm hearing is that they're starting him a little too early. He's just right off the market lounger. He's not really prepared unless he's been training, but there's nothing that simulates game speed. So the first game may be a little rough. I just see a lot of short passes and running game.
Yeah, I think they'll lean on McFadden, and what makes me less worried about it is that Hugh Jackson, the Raiders coach, recruited him to USC. He was USC's offensive coordinator during Carson Palmer's time there, and he was the Bengals wide receiver coach for a couple of years, one of which during which Carson Palmer won the MVP. So they're really familiar with each other. They really like each other. I think Hugh will put him in a position to be successful, but they might hit a few snags this weekend versus Kansas City.
All right.
So the other big deal this week, the Broncos traded Brandon Lloyd to the Rams for a 6th-round pick that will probably become a 5th-round pick if he catches 30 more balls this year. I know you're dismayed as a Brandon Lloyd fan and as a Broncos fan. Mark Schlereth, former Broncos all-star lineman, called this a fire sale. Do you agree with him?
Well, it has the characteristics of a fire sale. Like, what they're doing, the word on the street is what they're doing is tanking the season, and in doing that, tanking Tebow. Because the only way that the fans will let Tebow go is if he fails miserably. But if Demaryius Thomas and Decker, and if Eddie Royal does anything the rest of the year, and Julius Thomas, that he has weapons. It's just Brandon Lloyd is negated with Tim Tebow. Anyway, because Brandon Lloyd's a deep threat, Tebow not much of a downfield quarterback. So, in my opinion, the compensatory draft pick rules state that we should have gotten a 4th-round pick if we let him go. If he signed somewhere else for $5 million, I believe that's the rule.
And he's worth at least $5 million.
He's worth at least $5 million. But I guess what they were trying to do, or the rationale, is they don't want to risk it. They might as well get something now.
Well, and I think that they're also going to bring up the argument of getting Demaryius and Royal more playing time. But I got to call BS on that, because when you look at teams like the Packers and the Giants, the way they cycle receivers in and out, you get all of them plenty of playing time. Plus, since Demaryius Thomas is the understudy to Mr. Glass, you got to limit his snaps, at least early.
Very true, but we'll just see how it plays out.
I mean, I think the good news is that a lot of Tebow's fate is in his own hands, because I think the 2 most important things for a quarterback to be successful: 1, don't turn the ball over, and 2, be accurate. So I don't think he'll have trouble with the first, but the second one is where he'll really have to shine, and that will involve leaning on his tight ends.
Very true, but Brandon Lloyd rescued him. That amazing catch he made the other week was a very bad throw.
Yeah.
But
in desperation time, but yeah, I mean, having a circus catchmaker like Lloyd certainly would have helped Tebow.
It would.
Bottom line, I think it sends the wrong message to the fans, trading your most exciting player. But I mean,
if it works, the fans will forget about it like that.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of winning. But that's all we have on the news front. Come back and.